Hi, everyone. We're here with CCO Live, another Live with CCO. We're on number 52. We're going to have fun tonight. Why? Two things. One, we're going to play with the code sets, and we're going to show you a new tool. Actually, it's not too new, it's been around for a while, and I think we've mentioned it several years ago, but this tool in Find a Code is fabulous. We were playing with it again recently, and it's always good to have shortcuts that are available to you. Another reason why we like Find a Code, some unique shortcuts that I think are user friendly. So we're going to demonstrate CodeANote. And in fact, Jesus and I were just talking before we went live about the advantages. Who would benefit from this tool? And I was explaining that, even it's an AI. It's an automated tool. However, it is that intelligence that's behind it is very broad, and it would benefit somebody that is new in coding, that doesn't have their confidence yet, even a student wanting to kind of decipher some examples or some questions that they come up with. Now, you don't want to use this to take your practice exams and such, but when you're learning how to code some of these encounters, it could be intuitive for you, as well as someone who has a lot of years of experience under their belt and they are wanting to work faster, let the AI help them a little bit, or to maybe start in a specialty and see if they need some insight on codes that they not may not have thought to pick up. I was playing around with this again today, and some of the examples that I was going to show you, and I thought, oh, I didn't think of that code coming up, and it was ICD codes, and I like to brag that I know a lot of ICD codes. However, you just can't know them all, and sometimes you don't realize that a code's available to you if you're not familiar with that code. So this is an excellent tool. And another example I wanted to talk about using myself and kind of tell you, we all have areas that we get involved with this field that we like or we don't like as much, or we have less experience in versus another one. I love risk adjustment. I love the ICD 10 code set. And I also like the PCS, the code set, however, one of the things that I had not done for a very long time, besides teaching it, and that's completely different when you get out there in the real world, is some pro fee, especially family practice that saw so many different types of things coming through their doors. I was struggling with just regular annual wellness visits and some of the CPT and even the HCPCS codes that go along with Medicare patients. And I picked up a contract and thought, oh well, I'll just refresh myself and do this for a while because I knew that they needed help. And you know what? I wasn't very good at it. Now I could have kept going, honestly, and I would have picked back up, but I was never going to be as good at that as I am in risk adjustment. It's very humbling to have that experience, to realize you don't know it all, but it was wonderful in that I did get that exposure, and this would have been a fabulous tool to get myself back in the groove of remembering some of those common colds that you see repetitively, and or even the example of cardiology. I was doing some audits for cardiology, and the providers were just missing stuff right and left on codes now that they're kind of forced to code themselves. And it was almost so overwhelming that I was thinking, oh, okay, now I found A, B, and C. Am I missing a D? And I have to catch myself. It might be fun to plug one of these in to CodeANote and see if there's anything else that could be seen behind the scenes. uh, really a lot of areas uh, in this industry and what we're doing, where I think CodeANote would be beneficial. We're going to talk about them, but don't forget that if you are interested in Find a Code, the one that we've vetted and we really like, you can get a discount by using this link, cco.us, find a code, and let them know that you heard about our video if you want. But right now, I want to bring in this tool, and I want you to see how wonderful it was to use. Now, I was actually working on some RX HCCs, so you can see that. Just, don't pay attention to that. Let's go all the way over to the codes. Let's start at the beginning. So we're going to go to the home field. After you've logged in, you can go over here and notice that you can see the code sets and some other things that you can do: diagnoses, procedures, HCPCS for supplies. If there's specific information that you need about drugs and vaccines, again, some other little helpful tools, the info that's very common. But we're going to go into actual tools. And then within that, we're going to go over here to scrubbing and validation. Then notice they have scrub a claim, which is pretty cool. CodeANote, they've got the CCI validator for non-facility and facility. And we're going to click on CodeANote. Now, there is some helpful tools in the very, very beginning that will help you, in that you could actually put the MRN number that you're working on, and you could save this and print yourself stuff. It'll save it in a nice format. You can put the zip code that you're in. So this is my hometown. I don't live in this zip code anymore, but 65026. I'll put that in there. And this is for more services than just finding the code. Let's see. Well, let's do a female. Let's say they're 65. Now, this is only pertinent for specific things that you want to pull out of it. I'm going to show you kind of some of the basic ways to use it, and then I would encourage you to get a demo and play with it yourself. So put in whatever date that you want. Now, another thing is here you're able to actually put in where your point of service is. So doctor's office, that's the one we're going to use. And then what it's going to do is it's going to let you put in the EMR. Now you can copy and paste this in here. You may have to type some things out. Now, I am not going to give you an example of a really detailed full note. However, you could actually do that if you want. But be very careful with PHI, right? And then this will give us the suggestions. We can pick and choose what we want. And then if we click on it, it'll save the code down here. But we're able to see the information about the code. So I pulled out some practice that I had used with some students of mine in the past. And I am going to just, this is, I specifically had teaching moments that I wanted to give them, and I'm going to just copy and paste that in here. You don't have to worry about font or any of that other information. But I notice, or you're probably noticing, I use a lot of abbreviations because I wanted to see if the students would recognize these. But let's see, out of this information, of this content, what it's going to come up with, and let's go from there. We're going to be able to refine our search, but we'll just hit scan. So it changes the font. Don't worry about that, but it looks at codes. Now I'm going to, it says I want ICD-10, and it came up with actually just one, and it tells you where it's at: dietary counseling and surveillance. Uh, I would not have thought about that code at all. It is not one that was in my list. But note that if I wanted to add that, all I would have to do is click there and it would add it. I could actually um, look this up next to other codes. So it brings it just like the book. This is the book view, dietary counseling, and it gives me all these counseling codes that I can go to. Now, if you want to get out of that, you have to do this. If I wanted to look at CPT codes, there wasn't anything there that it was grabbing, uh, or even PCS. Now let's go back to ICD-10. Let's see what happens then if I want to edit it. And I know there's specifics that I want. Uh, Instead of it saying HTN, let's put in hypertension. You got to be able to spell these. And then let's put in, and I don't even have to put in congestive, I bet. Let's see, chronic kidney disease. I don't know if it's going to pick up the 4 or not. Diabetes. Oh, let's see. And so we have a body, let's say, it didn't, body mass index. Okay, so I'm curious what it's going to bring up. Notice we didn't say obesity. So my thought process is it going to give me hypertension? Is it going to recognize that when you have a person that has diabetes and CKD, is it going to know to flip those codes? Let's scan and see what it does. All right, interesting. So let's scroll up here. We're at the top. It says diabetes by itself. It knew to default to type 2, E11.9. However, notice here it says E13, other specified diabetes, because that technically could be it. Okay, so we've got essential hypertension. We have heart failure unspecified, which I said diastolic. It did pick up CKD4. It did start us with the beginning of the body mass index, and then it has that dietary counseling. So let's do this now. Let's start here. And it gave us an idea that, hey, by the way, you have a diabetic code. And I know that's not applicable. So let's go look at this. And then look, I click and I can see, oh, by the way, these are all of the codes that might be pertinent. And that means that if I scroll up and look at these real quick, I'll notice that, and I'll remember that uh, diabetes. Now let's see what happens when I click on that. It shows me that code. Okay, so I can put that in here. And then I know that's not applicable. Let's see, the hypertension code. It tells me uh, essential hypertension, hypertensive chronic kidney disease, right? And then hypertensive heart chronic kidney disease. And it's actually this one. So I can click on that and it'll take me out to that code that I can look at and know if that's the code I want. Now I'm going to X out of those two because those aren't in my thing. I think I can't click on that. So I can say here, do I want to keep these codes or remove them? I do want to keep this code. So I'm going to highlight it and look, it comes up. Body mass index, I'm going to highlight that. I do want that code. I don't, okay, but look, it told me I could add a code. So I'm going to do the I13.0 because I just looked at it, right? And it adds that one. And then what else did we have? That was our hypertension, our E11.22 for the CKD. We got that. So we got chronic kidney disease. We have the body mass index, which just gave us the beginning. It doesn't have the actual code specific. They had a BMI of 40, so we have to go look at that. We got our diabetic code, our CHF code, I50. It isn't unspecified. Diastolic, yes. Is there anything else in my note? So I can actually click on that one. So I got the unspecified diastolic. Oh, I can go over here and actually look up codes if I need to. Oh, look, I can even come over here and do a code checker. How about I pick Z68? Oh no, let me get them added in first. Let's see. Let's do those because I'm going to leave the Z68 and let's see what it does. Check codes. Error. You can't have Z68 by itself. See, it told me that. So what I want to do is I can go look up a code, Z68, and I can do Z68, and it says, oh, body mass index. We had a body mass index of 40, and that is right here. Z68, it was right here, Z6841, so I can get rid of that. I found that. Oh, I got it. Z6841. I'm going to add Z68.41. Add that so I can get rid of that one. I've got 1, 2, 3. You know what? I do know that if we look at this one, the Z6841, let's just go ahead and put that in. Z68.41 for the BMI. Guess what it tells you? It says, oh, by the way, if the patient is morbidly obese, you could use it in conjunction with the E code, E66. I happen to know that that is a code for morbid obesity. So E66.01. And, oh, yeah, morbid obesity. Oh, by the way, is there a BMI? Yeah, use the additional code. So E66, see, it reminded me of that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. E66.01. I happen to know that because it's a risk adjustment thing. So we have a BMI, but we also need to code that the person's morbidly obese because of their BMI. So what do we have now? We have hypertension. We have the proper hypertension code, the proper CHF code, the proper kidney code, the diabetes with the CKD, and then we have the body mass index, and then we have the and he counseled them so the obesity is pertinent. Is there anything else here that we?
Johan mentioned that the BMI actually reduced to 38.
It did.
Yeah, in the chart.
Oh, yes.
Thanks,
Very
Johan.
good, Johan. You know what? I can't see that because my eye is over here. Thanks, Johan. Very good. Now, if that's the case, then what I need to do is go over here. It's no longer morbid obesity. It is right here. Obesity, it's specified. Overweight. Let's look at this one. E6603 right here. Obese is, so I want the code for obese, which is E6609, right? Very good. E669. So I can go over here and then I can literally come here and do E66. Was it 09 or, yeah, 0.9. Add that code. So I've got to get rid of Z6841, so I can do that and come over here. Very good. So I have a lower BMI. Our patient's doing great. He lowered the BMI and it was, what was it, 38 we said? Yep, 38. So we got a 38 right here, Z6838. How easy is that? We've got Z68.38. Okay, we've got obesity. Let's see. Nice catch, Tony says. But we can still code morbid obesity if the BMI is more than 35 with 2 chronic conditions. Johan is correct. That is actually true. So that is where we can decide. You may want to query the provider or not, but it doesn't matter. That is actually another rule. And we have heart failure, we have kidney disease, we have diabetes. So let's leave that off, Johan. Let's wait and let's see if it lets us go back and make a change and correction after we see everything. All right. So we're going to keep that back, and we probably will go ahead and change E66.9 to E66.01. I think that is about everything. And again, we can do more. Did we get that counseling code? Did it grab that? Z7. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And I think that's good. Okay. So check codes. No general issues. All right. Now, again, this is not coding for us, right? Look how much work we had to do. So this is not an easy fix. This is not going to replace your ability or to code. However, what it has done is allowed you to have that information in front of you that maybe you're struggling with, or maybe this has a lot of teaching moments. It allows you to go in, look at the encoder, see the suggestions that it has. Notice that it didn't give the full Z68 code, right? It just said it's like a heads up. Look, Z68 is BMI. The BMI was noted here. It does the same thing for CPT and HCPCS and the PCS. But then we can kind of look and say, oh, let's see, do we have everything we need? We can go through and take out codes if we want. Now, this one's not letting me take those out because I've already checked it, because these are the codes that are chosen. These are the codes that are, hey, these are suggestions, and I can remove them from here before I hit this and have it look at it. And then, oh, look at another thing it just did. I didn't even realize it did that. Did you see that? What did it do? I hovered and it gave me a whole list of codes by it. And then code checker, anything else that I need to be aware of. And that gave me a list of codes that I could start and write out or use in my other screen. Now, again, I have multiple screens, and if you're working, you would have multiple screens. So uh, I like that. That worked out really, really well for us. Now, of course, we would probably go in and change this. We could take this out, but we're not printing this off or saving it anywhere. I'll just go ahead and remove that and put the E66.01 here just because for our thought processes that we were doing. Any other thoughts, you guys? Depending on your clinic's guidelines, Barb makes a good point though about that, the two conditions. All right. I love it. Let's try another one. So let's clear this, right? And we would just clear everything. And I'm just going to X out of these, although I think there's a button to clear all of it. And remove codes. I don't think, okay, for suggestions, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, refresh it. I'm going to pull out another one. Let's see. This one is a little different in that it has some kind of CPC stuff. So let's tweak this. Some of this information is not going to be pertinent this time. So unlike what we did before where we made a list, I've put the content where that was in there as I'm, let's think of it as a learning process. We're not a coder. This was a question, let's say a scenario that we have to code, and we want to use it as the thought process of a student. So if they want me to do a CPT, then and it would usually tell you, do you want to do CPT or code ICD or CPT? But by let's see. So we have Miss Jewel brought in by her mother today for swelling and pain in her right ankle. She stated that she had jumped from a swing and landed wrong at school. Her foot hurt, but it was not that bad until before bedtime when the pain increased. Tylenol and ibuprofen did not relieve the discomfort, and her mother decided she needed to be seen when the bruising started. In reviewing her chart, I saw her last summer for a follow-up on a right fracture to a metatarsal. X-ray in office revealed good healing of the old fracture and no new fracture. Well, there you go. That but if this is an AI, it's going to pick up things, right? That maybe it's going to see fracture codes. Actually, it won't if it's not spelled out. So let me just put StreamYard back up here so I can see if you guys asking questions. Let's give it a try. Let's scan it and see what it comes up with. Okay. Fracture unspecified metatarsal. No, because we don't. That's an old fracture. But what happens if we click on that and we want to see the book version and we say, okay, if that is the case, let's just go see what one of those would do, because maybe there's some guidelines. What if does it have the history of a fracture code? History of fracture? Well, there's not actually a code for that, but you might not know that. Fracture is not indicated, blah, 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 feature. Okay. No. Okay. So we looked at it and it didn't have information that we felt we needed, but we were able to look. So we can get rid of that. That's not going to be pertinent. Activity code. Oh, activity other involving climbing, rappelling, or jumping off. They jumped off a swing. So that there's probably a closer code, playing in the school yard, but for giggles, let's go ahead and pick that code. We're getting rid of the fracture code. And let's see, encounter for a follow-up treatment. No, this is not an encounter for follow-up. And then family history of certain disabilities. No, that's not pertinent. We don't need that. Okay, so now I need to edit, and let's look here. The swing landed wrong. So Tylenol, and it is we need to know what side it's on. So it's a right ankle, and it is no new fracture. Oh, I don't think I put the, did I say what the assessment? Hold on, I didn't put this on there. That's why it's not working. Kept thinking, how come it didn't tell him it was a sprain? Because let's scan that. So now we have cardiac murmurs. Where do they get a cardiac? Oh, low MDM. Fracture, no. Dislocation, injury, no. These are not giving us. We got the activity, but that didn't help us at all. So what we need to do is edit, and don't put sprained. Put sprain. I bet that'll help. ankle, right foot, and low medical decision making. Let's just scan it and see what that does. Does that give us a sprain? No, it didn't. Okay, that didn't help us a bit. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. There it is. Right ankle. Very good. So we're going to use that. Sprain of unspecified ligament of right ankle because it didn't tell us. And that looks like 401. And then we know that it would have an A on here for initial encounter. What about the code that I was thinking that I told C73620 X-ray right foot or X-ray of foot. We get to put that on there. And we don't, oh, well, that's probably why we didn't have all of these on there. I could have hit that. Okay, and let's do CPT. And what if we have to do the E&M for this? 99213 exam office, low medical decision making. Yeah. Again, we're not going to debate on that. Gives us an idea. We can go look at that code and see if that's what we want, but it gives you an idea of us using it. Let me bring Streambar. Oh, there you go. History of healed Z87.81. Thank you. Z87.81. Personal history of healed traumatic fracture. Thank you, Johan. And anybody see anything else that jumps out at them? I don't think we're going to find much more. So what we want to do is let's check these codes. Oop, we got an error. Traumatic diagnosis. Diagnosis is truncated. No issues, no issues. So let's just go look. Oh, we got to have an A on the back of it. That's why. S 93.401A. Let's check the codes. There we go. No issues. No issue. Now, again, see what it did? It caught that we didn't put the A on there. It is not going to code the note for you. Again, it is going to, though, pick up things that you might not have been aware of. Now, could I have typed in history of fracture and it would have done those key words for us? Or again, let's see, I don't think I can clear those out. Yeah, I can do refresh. What if we wanted the point of service to be a different place? You just switch it and hit this again. Not going to be a problem. It's going to be able to do a lot of different services for us. Let's go pull out. Let's clear this one. And let's do another one. I have a case study from the other day we did for a risk adjustment. We did a case study on blood disorders. So I picked this one from that slide deck. Bleeding of esophageal varices secondary to alcoholic liver disease and portal hypertension with acute blood loss anemia requiring transfusion of 2 liters of blood. Patient's alcohol. Let's just see. Lots of keywords. What's it going to give us? Whoa. Okay. Iron deficiency anemia. Where did it get that? Blood loss anemia. Okay. We have alcohol-related disorders, alcohol dependence and remission, alcohol use unspecified induced. Here's the secondary esophageal varices, alcoholic hepatitis without ascites. They don't have hepatitis. And then hemorrhage not elsewhere classified. and that isn't. Let's see what it does with CPT, blood transfusions, and then there's several. When you go to deal with that, there's several different uh, choices in the way they do that. But look, it even has the RVUs on there. How brilliant is that? I don't think it's going to give us any HCPCS codes. Don't think it's going. Well, it did do esophageal vein potty part. It gave us the first of possibly a procedure that would be done for that. So we can check codes. We had bleeding of esophageal varices secondary to alcoholic liver disease. Okay, so the codes, I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. Iron deficiency to blood loss. I want to get alcohol dependence in remission, and I don't alcoholic hepatitis without S. It's not that. It didn't pick up the keyword of. Oh no, it just says alcoholic liver disease, but it doesn't say they have cirrhosis. I was thinking that it would do that. So let's go look what our options are. Hepatitis. Again, see how it's given us the opportunity? It's not fatty liver. It's not these fibrosis, cirrhosis. I was thinking, cirrhosis of the liver in my brain when I first read that. Fatty liver. So we don't have, that's not going to work for us. It's going to let me scroll down. Oh, here we go. Alcoholic liver disease unspecified. K709. Let's look at that. Go from there. Unspecified, and they gave. Okay. Oh, those look good for right now. Let's not get too in depth. Let's check the code, see if we've got any problem. No general. Okay, I think you guys are getting the idea. I don't want to get too in depth, and let's do another test of something I know that people struggle with when they first start coding. So let's refresh this, and let's go ahead and say that we are we haven't really mastered looking up the index yet, right? Either with CPT or ICD. We're a student and we're really struggling, and they've given us a list of different things to look up, and there's something that we can't find. So I don't let's say one of the things that I used to do to my students, and it is very, very mean, is COPD, because it really doesn't have one of the words in the description that shows you how to look up the code. So let's write in and see what happens. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So the person doesn't have chronic, they don't have obstructive, they don't have pulmonary, they don't, disease is too broad, right? They do have a disease. So let's, out of curiosity, and I didn't do this ahead of time, I'm curious what it comes up with. J44.9. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease unspecified. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try, well, we just saw fatty liver. Let's type in fatty liver. Now let's see what comes up. Other diseases of the liver, fatty liver, not a, okay. let's see. What's another one that people struggle with? Maybe I can. Um, sometimes, sometimes people will go, oh, MOHS, Mohs procedure. I'm curious. Now I'm going to scan this. It's not going to come up there, but let's see what it does here. Mohs, it picked up Mohs surgery. Is that awesome or what? Okay, let's try something else. Let's clear that. Let's say, I don't know the critical care codes. I can't find them. See what it says. Critical care, CPT, scan. Oh, CPT. Oh, it didn't do it. I thought it would do it. It didn't. Okay, so we can clear that. Let's see. Oh, Johan found the portal hypertension. What about, uh, let's see. Oh, asthma with bronchitis. Very good, Barb. With, gotta be able to spell bronchitis. Unspecified asthma, uncomplicated. Oh, that, okay. I know what this is. However, that doesn't have the key words that we wanted, right? So we might be questioning that. So let's go look. Unspecified asthma. Yeah, we just doesn't say what type. And it says with bronchitis. Wait a minute. That is not uncomplicated. Status asthmaticus. Well, if you're new, you're a student, you won't know what that is. With an acute exacerbation. And again, maybe you don't know what these are. So let's just pick the one in the middle. Okay. So status asthmaticus, and then what it does, so brilliant. Look what it does. It comes down here and says, oh, by the way, if you don't know what status asthmaticus means, here is the description for you. And there's Atticus is in status Atticus. uh, uh, they have that in other diagnoses. I know that because my son has his type of epilepsy has been an Atticus status Atticus. Kind of fun to say. Ultimately, it means it's intense or it's a little bit different and it doesn't conform to regular usual therapeutic efforts. Okay, so then this is why final code is so brilliant. It gives me all of these things, and if I'm a new student and I don't know, I'm looking at, oh, signs and symptoms: wheezing, shortness of breath. Oh, you mean there's mild, moderate, and severe? I didn't realize that. Okay, so that's what it says about the codes, and then I have to look up these this other stuff and see what it says. Bronchitis. Let's look at the code before it. Acute exacerbation, asthmatic bronchitis. So it tells us, hey, we're in the right area right there, J4590. And don't see anything more there, but let's look at that third code. What does this mean? It's asthma not otherwise specified, but it actually is. It is complicated, so we wouldn't use that one. So again, this is uh, like Barb says, is a great example of how it will help you drill down through this program. Very, very good. Yeah. Polyneuropathy associated with PVD. Oh, good one. Now you guys are going to get me off on a tangent. Let's just not do that, guys. But let's put that in. He's getting into the advanced stuff now. Let's see. Polyneuropathy, because I got to spell it right. With uh, peripheral peripheral vascular vascular disease. That would be the one thing. You're going to have to be able to spell it. If you can't spell, it might give you some trouble. Okay, so it's saying that but it's polyneuropathy with PVD, and throat diabetes in there too. That's fun. And what it's going to do is give us some codes to look at. Uh, Barb says, remember Atticus, the character in The Kill the Mockingbird, and you'll never forget to utilize Atticus situations when determining a code. Thank you, Barb. That's awesome. Now, everybody needs to go out and watch that movie or read that book if they haven't done it. Yeah. And we're going to wrap up here soon, you guys. We've really been playing with this for a while. But look, other specified peripheral vascular disease. And I think it's always a good idea to go up, peripheral vascular disease, and other. And then you can also go down if you need to. Let's look at that particular code. And then if
Hey,
there's any
Alicia,
other,
just real quick. It looks like
yeah,
you typed in ploy instead of poly.
did I?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Psh, you're right. Didn't I say you got to be able to spell it? Okay, let's see what it does. There you go. Now, this other neurological with Lyme's disease, that's not, but look what it pulled out, right? We wouldn't have thought of that. Other specified polyneuropathies, and then our I7 3.89. Yeah. Now, you mentioned G63. So let's bring this up and then go from there. Let's just bring this code up. And why is it not grabbing it? Oh, is it? Oh, I'm not hitting the right place. Okay. And we can go there and then scroll down, polyneuropathy, unspecified, G62, G63, polyneuropathies in diseases classified elsewhere. There you go. The full description was changed, and he brings up, Johan brings up another really good point. Code, and and again, polyneuropathy is often associated with diabetes, but here's some other heads up. And Barb says code shopping is fun, and Johan, polyneuropathy is in diseases classified elsewhere. Yeah. Per AHA guidelines. You guys, this is fun. Now, I think ultimately you got the idea of how this is beneficial. It's a tool. Now, we played around with it um, and got some extra little educational tidbits out of there for you. But uh, again, it's not going to take over your job. It's not going to do the work for you, but it will let you see your options. It will let you pick codes and kind of play around with them. I mean, if I come across, if I have this up, I use Find a Code as my daily encoder. I know that some other stuff, whenever you do contracts and other things, they give you that stuff, but I don't find them as user friendly or have tools. And maybe they do have tools, but it just isn't as user friendly as I find a code. And this is a tool that could get you in the right direction quickly, whether you're a new student and still learning codes, keywords, right? It'll give you a place to go look in your book. Again, if you didn't know and you go look up this A code and then you wait a minute, it doesn't say anything about Lyme's disease, or again, G6 G6 2.89. Okay, that's other specified, but then you'd be opening up your book, you'd be looking at the guidelines, and this works for CP2. Now, again, I default to ICD a lot when teaching, and because that's my favorite code set. But uh, I think it takes away a lot of pain points. And let us know if you do get this tool and if it works well for you. It might be a good way for providers even to play around a little bit if you need to show them quickly something and say, oh, look. How the documentation of the way you phrase something could make a difference. Um, so I see a lot of benefits from this. And as well, don't forget, you can pick where you're going to be coding from. So it allows you to do that, as well as you can even go back and do those CodeANote. So you put all that information in, and that's another tool maybe we'll show you in the future. So yeah, Johan makes a good point. I think that it would allow you to speed up. I think it'll give you exposure to guidelines and codes on all 3 code set or all 4 code sets that you might not been aware of, especially HICSPECs. We just don't deal with that very much, as sometimes those, especially inpatient. Can you imagine how quick this would help you with all of that stuff that comes across your desk with an inpatient scenario? So, guys, have fun with it. Let me get rid of all of this, and let's get back to the cco.us. And if you want to join the club, it's cco.us/club, where we talk about everything that is beneficial to you, whether you're new in the industry or you're one of our peers. That'd be a great place to go tell us about your use of Find a Code, and tell them hi over there if you do decide to order. And they gave you that link that you saw a minute ago. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Hey, there's a link at CCO. If you've got an idea of a topic that you'd like us to go over, let us know. We'll do a video for you. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Do you need more medical certification and business training? Learn more at www.cco.us.